Welcome to another show we call Perspectives El Paso. I'm Leon Blevins, Professor of Government with El Paso Community College Television. Today I'm going to be interviewing, in these 28 minutes or so, another television personality. Now I tell people I'm not a television star when they ask me about it. I say, no, I'm a television personality, and I have beside me a television personality named Bernie Olivas. Bernie.
Mr. Blevins, Professor Blevins, a pleasure to be here.
Now, you know why I called you a television personality.
I have no idea.
Well, I saw you and Don Guevara and Farron Franzak calling the shots as the Sun Bowl parade came down Montana Avenue this last Thanksgiving Day.
And I'll be honest with you, that's the most nervous I get all year because I am not a TV personality. But I do it once a year, and they feel that they should have somebody from the Sun Bowl to explain, to describe the floats as they go by, because I'm actively part of building some of the floats. So they ask me to be there. So I am more nervous that day than
so you were the reference book between the two television personalities.
There you go. That's exactly what I was.
Okay, Bernie Olivas is the chair of the Sun Bowl Association. Now, you can find out a lot about the Sun Bowl Association if you go to the internet and type that in. And so we're going to have a little conversation here with Bernie Olivas. Are you a native El Pasoan?
Born and raised, educated, right here in El Paso.
Okay.
Lived all my life here. Well, not yet, anyway, at least up till now.
Okay.
Went to Cathedral High School, played football at UTEP for a couple of years, and graduated from UTEP, and found a job here and stayed here, and I love it. This is where I want to die, right here in El Paso. I love this. I love the city. And I do nothing but promote the city anywhere I go.
Mm-hmm. Well, I checked back when I saw you on that television show. I decided I need to do a program. I thought about it before. I've been doing this show for 8 years. Finally get around to it and invite you to come on the show and talk about the association. Not just the parade. I looked back through my photos and I found I'd been in the Sun Bowl parade at least 7 times as Uncle Sam, led it at least twice, and once was 2003 when Shoshana Johnson and Joseph Hudson were grand marshals,
Correct.
Rescued POWs and so on, brought back. And then another time I wasn't at the front of the parade, but I was with the float for the city when they were named an All-American City.
Correct.
And one of my students had done a lot of the legwork getting that designation for them. And he asked me if I would come, instead of being at the front of the parade, walk along with the float for the city with their banner, and that was a lot of fun.
And we honored the city as grand marshals that year for being the
Grand Marshal.
They were
the city was the grand marshal.
Absolutely, and very well deserved for being named an All-American City.
We were proud to do that. My favorite photograph of the Sun Parade was with all those princesses on that sloping float, and I stopped to pose with them, and I did like this, and all of them did like this, and I have a wonderful photograph from the Sun Parade.
Oh, that's great. We always seem to get just a tremendous group of young ladies to represent the Sun Bowl, and that's where we showcase our Sun Court, is at the parade. That's when they dress up really nice in their gowns, and we that's where we present them to the city in front of close to 300,000 people every year. So we do get every year we get a great group of young ladies who are college students, and we call them the ambassadors of the Sun Bowl Association, not only here in El Paso, because many of them go to school outside of El Paso, and their job is to go and talk to the people about El Paso and about the Sun Bowl and about the wonderful things there are to do here. So we always get a tremendous group of young women who are highly intelligent and have a tremendous knowledge about our city and our organization.
And they're not just pretty faces. I've done some reading programs with them for children and seniors and so on. And they're motivated. They're going to college and they're learning to do all kinds of things.
It's an extensive interview process, and it's not a beauty contest. A lot of think it's a beauty contest. They are interviewed based on their knowledge of El Paso, their knowledge of the Sun Bowl, or knowledge of places to do things, and on their communication skills. Can they convey all of that to people? Right. And can they stand in front of a microphone and camera and tell people of El Paso? So you're right. They're not just a bunch of pretty girls. They are highly intelligent, and their resumes are tremendous. So we are, we're very proud to continue that tradition for now 81 years coming up this year.
In 1984, one of our friends, Ann Bowling, was named the Sun Queen. Now, you can go to the internet and you can type in the Sun Queens of history, and they'll give you all of those dates and everything. We went to the game that year, and if I remember, it was freezing cold.
That was 1984 was a very, very, very cold game. This was 1984. It was SMU and Alabama. That was the coldest I think I've ever been
Right.
in a Sun Bowl game, and I've been to a lot of Sun Bowl games, but that was one of the coldest days I remember.
We
being
can
on the football
testify to
field.
that. We can testify to that. Now, tell us about how long have you been with the Sun Bowl Association?
Actually, with the association, I started in 1983, and I just love the organization. I worked very hard to do what I was asked to do, and little by little, I started moving up, and I was asked to be on the board of directors, and I was asked to take on some other responsibilities. And in 2000, I was named the president of the Sun Bowl, which is a one-year volunteer position. And it just happened that, like they say, timing is everything. Our executive director, Joyce Feinberg, resigned while I was president. And, I worked for corporate America. I worked for a big, national company. But I loved El Paso. I loved the Sun Bowl. And I turned in my resume and asked them to see if they would consider me for the job. So I took the job in September of 2001. So I've been executive director now for going on 16 years.
Now, how large is your staff that helps put all of these activities together?
Our full-time staff are, including myself, we have 6 people. It's a tremendous staff. We ask them to do a lot of things. They work a lot of overtime. But the lifeblood of our organization are volunteers, and we deal with about 500 to 700 volunteers throughout the year. That's a lot of volunteers. And if you ask anybody who comes, especially our football teams or our basketball teams that come to our tournament, they say this is, without a doubt, of all the bowls that they've gone to, this offers the best hospitality of any bowl that they've ever been to.
Oh, I hear that a lot.
And it's true, and it comes down to our volunteers. We have so many committees out there to make sure that when some out-of-town visitors come to El Paso, they are treated the way we want them to be treated, and we want them to remember El Paso forever and ever. And I think our volunteers do a tremendous job. But of course, they're under they start with the direction of our staff, which is a tremendous staff. We have one special events director, which is Joe Dabach. We have our ticket manager, which is Ellen Hughes. Our financial manager, which is Pam Carter. Our director of marketing, Jay Pritchard, and our media relations director, which is Eddie Morelos. And when I hired them, I have to get a commitment. I say, this is not a 9-to-5 job. This is a 9 job until we're finished.
Right.
Whatever time we finish is when we go home, and they understand, and it's just tremendous. And each one has committees that are under each one of them, and there are so many committees that we have just to make sure that everything goes the way we would like for it to go. And year after year, it's tremendous the amount of accolades that we get because of our volunteers. So it's a nonprofit organization. We are a nonprofit organization, so I work for the board of directors, and they give the direction, and we follow it. And then our board of directors are very active also in our committees. As a matter of fact, one of our requirements for a board member is they have to be active on at least one of the committees that the Sun Bowl has. So
sure. It
it is not just hey, I'm on the board of directors, thank you very much, invite me to all your parties. Every one of them has a job to do to make this organization the best it can be.
Let's deal with another one. I see you have an emblem here. Let's talk about recruiting sponsors for your events. A lot of people think of just that the Sun Bowl is a ball game, football game, a basketball tournament, a golf tournament, and a parade. That's not all there is to it. How do you recruit people that will sponsor these events?
I guess that is probably my main responsibility, along with actually executing the events, is finding title sponsors, and it's not easy nowadays. Money is tight all over the country, but you get some leads. Luckily, our football game has been sponsored by Hyundai for the last 7 years, and they're on for 3 more years. And I'm proud to say that our mayor, Oscar Leeser, who before he was mayor, and he still is the owner of the Hyundai of El Paso, he showed some interest, and he put me in contact with Hyundai Motors America. And he was very instrumental in pushing them to speak to me and to get this thing going. And when the contract is up in 3 years, and like I said, we don't know whether we'll re-up again.
Right.
But they will have been our sponsor for 10 years. And if you look around, there are 40 college football bowl games around the country, and hardly anybody has a title sponsor for more than 3 years. Mm-hmm. To have somebody for 10 years is a tremendous accomplishment. And just not only that, but the Sun Bowl football game was the very first bowl game to have a title corporate sponsor. Before that, everybody was on their own. They worked, and when John Hancock became our title sponsor back in 1986, the rest of the bowls shunned the Sun Bowl and said, "Oh, you guys sold out. You guys sold out to corporate America.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it. And they wouldn't talk to us. They thought we were the outcasts. And now you look at us now. Look at the bowl games now. A bowl game cannot survive without a title sponsor.
Well, they even put the names of companies on big stadiums anymore.
Well, absolutely. Everything, they sell the rights for everybody. So that's part of the job. And then, we've been lucky also with, our parade. Our parade is probably the other big, obviously it's the most attended event El Paso has with close to 300,000 people, depending on the weather,
Yeah, right.
and depending on the date. But we got about 300,000 people, and we have a tremendous title sponsor in the First Light Federal Credit Union. And, you look around and when we need a title sponsor, you start looking through yellow pages and through phone books and through the internet and see somebody who might need some branding. And I don't know if you remember, but I think it was I hope I'm not wrong, but it was Fort Bliss Credit Union that was bought out by the people from First Light, and they renamed it First Light, and they needed some branding. They needed some name recognition.
Yeah, one year, 2003, I think it was, that with the banner, I saw the photograph, that's First Light that was your sponsor.
That's correct. That was their first year, but they needed some branding because that was their new name. This is First Light Federal Credit Union. And I think, and being a title sponsor, it really puts their name out there. And that's, you look for companies that need some branding. They're big companies, but maybe they're not known. And those are the ones you go look for. Hey, how'd you like to put your name on this? And it'll be, you'll get so many millions of impressions.
You're mutually helpful to each other.
Absolutely.
That's what you're looking at. Now,
Absolutely.
You also deal with television. I noticed that the parade, the television coverage was NBC channel.
That's correct.
But the football game is CBS.
It's on CBS. And again, we're proud to say that this year will be the 50th consecutive year on CBS television. That is the second oldest property on all of television. There's only one other program that has been on the same network longer than the Sun Bowl game. And that would be the Masters, which is also on CBS. Mm-hmm. But no other, I'm not talking football or basketball or anything. This is the second longest property of any sort on the same network in television. And this will be our 50th consecutive year on CBS.
What do you attribute that to?
The relationships that were started with, one of our longtime volunteers, Jimmy Rogers Jr., who used to own Rogers and Belding Insurance.
Okay.
He was a volunteer, 50 years ago, and him and our executive director, I believe it was Harrison Cole, went to CBS looking for television, and the relationship that they formed with CBS has continued through 50 years. And I talked to Jimmy, who is still our CBS liaison, and he tells me how many presidents of CBS he has gone throughout the years. But the relationships that he has made, the way we treat them when they come to El Paso, is they remember and they want to continue that relationship. And it's just been a tremendous accomplishment to be on the same network for that long. Oh, wow. 50 years this year, and we're very proud to say that. And we like to hang that feather on our hats all the time when we talk about television. When every other bowl game has switched networks, they're either on ESPN or on NBC or ABC. We've been a mainstay on CBS now for 50 years, and they love the relationship, and we love the relationship. But the relationship that has been formed between both of us is tremendous, and hope it continues for another 50 more.
Now, I've been asked this question as the host of this program. Who are some of the most interesting people that you have met because you host this program? I could say Rosa Guerrero, Willie Cager, Jimmy Melver, and a number of other people. Who are some of the most interesting ones you met because of your position?
Oh, I've met some people. Football-wise, obviously, you meet some of the most interesting football coaches in the country, beginning with Nick Saban, who has won 6 national championships at Alabama. But as far as the parade, you get to meet some of these some of our grand marshals like Sam Donaldson.
Okay.
Who has a building named for him. He was tremendous when he came down. As our grand marshal. This last year we had a Ginger Carrick, who is an El Pasoan, went to Hanks High School, who now is the lead at the NASA Space Station. She's the first woman, non-astronaut, to be in charge of communications between NASA and the space shuttles.
The mission control director.
Mission control director.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
tremendous, and she is so down to earth, and we honored her as our Grand Marshal this year. And I had met her once before, but having been able to spend some time with her was unbelievable. It is great. So you do get to meet a lot of people more than you like to recognize. I know when I was a kid, Mickey Mantle, who was my childhood hero growing up, was the Grand Marshal for the Sun Bowl parade. And I wasn't involved yet, but I was a huge Mickey Mantle fan, and I remember going to the parade route and running next to his car the entire parade route so I could shake his hand at the end of the parade. I'll never forget that. He said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "No, I want to shake his hand." So you get those, yeah.
Don't wash that hand.
Yeah, don't wash the hand. No, I was just a huge baseball and Yankee fan. I'm still a Yankee fan, but Mickey Mantle was one of the people that I got to meet. That was tremendous. So, you get to meet a lot of, even though we do a lot of different events, we're primarily, the football game and the basketball tournament and the golf tournament, getting to meet Tiger Woods when he played in our tournament here. Tiger Woods played in our tournament here in 1996,
Wow.
and got to meet with him and talk to him. It was, he was tremendous. And now Jordan Spieth, who just won his tournament last week, who's a famous, he's one of the number of top golfers in the world. He played here in our tournament as well. A lot of these golfers who are professional golfers who are winning tournaments and winning majors played in our Western.
We have
Finding
one. We have a
College
major street
All-American.
named after Lee Trevino.
And Lee Trevino. Lee Trevino came into town. We invited him to our All-American golf tournament, to the Western Finding College American last tournament, to be our speaker. And he was one of the founders of this College All-American golf tournament.
Wow.
Tremendous individual, to come in and speak with us. And he is, everything you see on TV, he's exactly the way off the camera. A lot of people, a lot of celebrities in front of the camera are one person and then different when the camera's not on.
Right.
He is the same, all the time, and he was a pleasure to meet. So the list goes on and on and on as to some of the people that I get to meet because of the position that I'm
Now,
in.
what are some of these lower level events that you have going on year round?
Well, you know what? In June, we have the Academy Sports and Outdoor Soccer Tournament, and it has become one of the largest soccer tournaments here in the Southwest. And it is a youth tournament for boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 19. And we cut it off at 150 teams. And we play close to 300 soccer matches in 2.5 days. And that's one of our major events, along with this Western Finding College All-American Golf Classic. And because it's a different event, it's a collegiate event, but you have to be an All-American to be invited. So it's a very, very elite field. And of course, we've talked about the parade, the First Light Aircraft Parade, we're going on our 81st year this year. And then, the West Star Don Haskins Basketball Invitational has now been going on for 54 years. And
The West Star is a bank, right?
That's West Star is a bank, correct. The West Star Bank, Don Haskins, Invitational. And we're going on our 54th year as well. And we've had some of the biggest names in college basketball come play in that tournament. And of course, the football game is we're going on our 84th year now. And not only that, but the night before the game, we've had an event that's been going now for 19 years, which is the Fan Fiesta, which is a big event, free of charge to anybody in El Paso. We hold it at the convention center the night before the game. Come on down, and we have it's a big party. It's a
I've
pregame
seen that
party.
on the news. That's
it's a
wonderful.
big pregame party, and it's open. And we started doing that so that our fans from out of town who come to see their teams play have something to have a party the night before the game. And we have food, and we have drink, we have entertainment, we have the Battle of the Bands, and we have clowns. We have just about everything. It's just a big fiesta. We call it the Fan Fiesta, and it's open. And those are our 6 major events. But along the way, events that people don't realize we have a charm camp for girls, and it's a camp where we invite 350 young ladies, middle school girls, and they get talks on etiquette, on dress, on etiquette and dress, on careers, on manners, and it's a very great event, and that's sponsored by Helen of Troy. We also have a cheer camp for girls, associated with our fan fiesta, where we have the cheerleading squads from both universities. Actually, we get another 350 young ladies, and they get to learn how to cheer and do that stuff, and that kind of stuff. We have a basketball camp for boys and girls, and we get the coaches from the teams that come to play in tournament to teach, to go and lecture these children on not only basketball but on life skills as well. So they mix life lessons along with basketball, and there's a lot of those type of events. A lot don't get a lot of publicity, but we're involved. We have a total of about 18 different events throughout the year. A lot of people think that after the football game we just lock it up and wait till next December, but no, we're pretty busy throughout the year, and the staff is always working, and we're always looking to make things better throughout the year. Right now, we're working on the soccer tournament that's coming up, and organizing a tournament with 150 teams takes a lot of work. Just the scheduling to make sure that every team has scheduled for at least 3 soccer games is pretty intensive.
You're making me tired just listening.
It's pretty intensive. So yeah, we stay pretty busy, but it's it's a labor of love, and all of us are there because we want to be, as a nonprofit. The salaries aren't great, but we all love what we do, and it's a big. We have a nice family there at the office, but the family extends to all our volunteers, and it's just a fun place to work for.
Now, if I come to your office, give us a telephone number and a website if you wish to do so.
Absolutely. Our website is www.sunbowl.org, very simple. Okay. Our telephone number is 915-533-4416. And if anybody wants to get involved as a volunteer, they can go to our website. We have a site there for volunteers. Fill it out. Tell us what you're interested in. It comes to me. We'll get in contact with you, and we'll put you on a committee. As long as you're willing to work and have fun, we'll put you on a committee. And of course, ticket sales. We sell tickets for only 2 events. It's our basketball tournament and our football game, and everything else is pretty much free of charge. There's an entry fee, obviously, for our soccer teams, but to go watch the soccer tournament, it's free of charge. So the only tickets that we events that we have sell tickets for is the basketball tournament and the football game. Everything else is free of charge, even the golf tournament.
Where is your physical address? Where's your building?
Our physical address is 4150 Pinnacle, Suite 100, which is right off Executive Center between Mesa and I-10. It's on the first floor. It's and anybody is welcome to come in there and fill out a form there, and we'll find some place because we're always looking for good volunteers.
Right.
Always looking for good volunteers. And like I said, it's 4150 Pinnacle, which is right between Mesa and I-10. Off of Executive Center on the west side.
Okay, if I come to your building and I'm walking down the hall, going to your office, what pictures am I going to see on the wall?
You're going to see, the first thing is, we have a long hallway too, and we have so many pictures of the parade and the floats of the past that go all the way back to all the ones that we have now. We're running out of wall space because on one side it's pretty much just a little basketball and a lot of parade. On the other side it's a lot of football, and then football and some of our other events. And if you walk into our conference room, we have our legends of the Sun Bowl. We have all our past winners, but a lot of pictures of our past floats. I think is a highlight of our office, of the pictures that we have in the office. We also have a lot of football pictures, but the parade, what used to be called the Sun Carnival Parade, is featured on one of our walls, and we have some pretty exotic floats that were being built way past. And I think our parade chairman, and Jim Lawrence, and Joe Dabach, our special events director, as far as floats are concerned, they've raised the bar every year to make sure that the floats get better and better and better. And if you go down, there's a lot of if you look at our parade now, if you go down the parade, you look at all the floats, there's a lot of animation now. One time we even had pyrotechnics. We had fireworks coming out of one of the fireworks, but there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of animation now, and the bar keeps getting higher and higher because we want these floats we want the parade to get better and better every year. But that's what you'll see in our coming down our hallway in our office. You walk into my office and I have helmets of almost every football team that has played in our Sun Bowl game. I may have a collection of all the helmets of football teams that come in. So it's a little museum. I would love to have a bigger place so we could actually have a Sun Bowl museum so we can highlight all of our events. But it's pretty much a little living museum that we have at the office.
Well, that could be a dream, and of course you'd have to charge for people to come into the museum and help pay the expenses on that. But this is memorable history.
Oh, that's like I said, 83 years of history.
Okay. We have just about 3 minutes left. If there's one person from the past that you've been working with the Sun Bowl Association, and you could sit down for an interview like this, who would you like to interview?
Jimmy Rogers Jr.
Okay.
He's been a volunteer at the Sun Bowl for 55 years
Right.
as a volunteer, and he has seen it all. And he is such an interesting man when you sit there and talk to him. And we go to lunch and we start talking. And I said, Jimmy, tell me about this. And he, his memory is like an elephant. He just doesn't forget. And he is just such an interesting person to talk to. And then on the other side, you have a John Fulmer. And John Fulmer's been a volunteer with the Sun Bowl for 45 years. And he can tell you everything about the football game from the beginning. Those two men, we call them Mr. Sun Bowls because of all the work and like I said, volunteer work they've put in. That's over 100 years. That's 100 years of volunteering between two people.
Well, you're going to need more than a 28-minute show
Absolutely.
to talk to them.
And Jim Lawrence has been working the parade for I think 47 years, and we've made him chairman. And again, when it comes to parade, he's a master float builder. I mean, he has taught everybody who comes in to build a float. He'll teach them how to, he'll give them direction as to how to put things together and how to make a float. So I think those three people are the best. But like for Jimmy Rogers, has been around for 55 years, and he is just a tremendous individual.
Will you give my regards to them?
I sure will.
And tell Joe hello for me. He's the one I always communicate with about being in the parade.
Absolutely, he's like I said, an incredible employee.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I think our time is gone now, and I want to say thank you for watching this interesting program, and thank you for being here,
Professor
Mr.
Blevins,
Television personality.
It's been a pleasure to be here.
We'll see you for another program in the future. I'm Leon Blevins.